Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to the Dugout Football channel. And the Premier League is back. I have been waiting to say those words for a wee while. Anyway, I just want to say before we begin this stream, a massive thank you to you all for watching my AFCON content. It had 14.2k views, which I think is absolutely magnificent. So thank you very, very much to everyone who watched that. But the Premier League is back, and it is Liverpool against Leicester City. We will come on to it as well. As you can see, I am surrounded by foxes. Mr. Neil from Beyond the 90, welcome. How are you?
All well, all good, apart from Leicester City letting me down. It kind of is nostalgic, to be honest, going back to kind of when I started supporting Leicester City. But yeah, all good, mate, all good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. And making his first appearance on a preview show, I think it is, it's Mr. Chris Forian from Leicester Till I Die. How are you, my friend?
Well, no longer a virgin then. Nice to be amongst fellow non-virgins. Yeah, I'm fine. It's like Neil said, forget the football and it's great.
Absolutely. And of course, we have Brad as well. How are you, Brad?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Again, like the other two before me, not so much worried about the football because it's the furthest thing from my mind at the moment until tomorrow. But I can start my therapy on that day. I'm all right until that happens.
Absolutely, absolutely, indeed. Let's say hello to a few people because I did see there are a few of you in here. The lovely Willow is in. Good evening, Willow. Thank you very much for tuning in. Helen is in. 3-2 Villa. Aberdeen pull one back 2-1. Yeah, I did see Livingston had scored. Yeah, I've got my iPad there, so I'm just keeping an eye on the score. Let's say hello to Willow. Hello, Helen. It's now 2-2 Aberdeen Celtic. Interesting. Yes, I was. I've not got it on. I'm actually just got the video printer on as well. It's been too long. Yes. Even all three Leicester fans versus one Liverpool fan. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
8 seconds to the end, we'll drop the points. It's all right.
Yes,
this is the back line for Leicester tomorrow.
Hello, Mike Green. Thank you for tuning in. Got to love Chris's Leicester room. Yes, that is a very, very good Leicester room, if I do say so myself. Hi, Chris. Got and Moxiclav to take. Was told I could have. Oh my gosh, that's quite serious. That. Big up, Chris. Afternoon. I think you meant to say evening, Niall, but never mind. Thank you very much for tuning in.
What part of the world he is in?
Not here. Hiding. Hiding? Why are you hiding? Oh, are Motherwell losing, are they? Oh dear. Chris Ross really is a cool team, just a wrong team. Taking one for the team. Absolutely. Right. Well, I have to start with probably it's been dominating the morning headlines, hasn't it? Brendan Rodgers under pressure. Now, the reason I have the three foxes on with me is because I'm going to ask one question. Are you Brendan in or Brendan out? So I'll start with Neil. Are you Brendan in or Brendan out?
Out. Keep it short, and then we'll probably end the discussion later on.
Out. Chris.
Sorry, it's got to be in.
Brad.
I just want to grab me popcorn because I knew this was coming between these two. But I'm actually Brendan in at this moment in time.
Okay, so
go, Brad.
Why out, Neil?
So I appreciate what he's done, but for example, when you came on last time on our channel, and we were looking at the same issues again and again, and it just seems to be getting even worse. What he's doing now is he's throwing the players and essentially the ownership under the bus as well. He's blaming everybody else but himself. Now that's only a one-way course, in my opinion. When you're doing that, you're clutching at straws. I think he's done great, but at the same time, you're looking at it. I think we've genuinely conceded 50 goals so far this season. Again, that's the players have to take responsibility for that as well. But with Leicester at the moment, I've wanted to back Brendan for a long time, and I do respect what he did, but at the same time, there's just something now that it just seems like, right, everything's falling apart, and the manager is a big part to play that, so that's why.
Interesting. Chris, why in?
Be careful what you wish for, Neil. I know we had a whole hour show on this last night, so trying to condense it. If we get rid of him, the big question is, and the odds, I mean, the Sun have got Pochettino as 20-1 to take over. I mean, we're talking silly territory here. But you have to be careful what you wish for. Or who would replace him? And when we took Brendan on, as part of a project, part of a long-term deal. And, I accept that nobody stays at clubs like, Wenger at Arsenal or Ferguson at Man United anymore. But what's the point in having this plan, this new training ground, etc., 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 and then getting rid of the driver halfway through? What is the point? Because you're going to bring another driver in that's going to take us down another route. So you've literally might as well, we've wasted the last couple of years. We've wasted all these millions of pounds. Give him longer. Give him a chance. We've gone 6 months with having, a particularly bad team. I said earlier on my show, you've gone 30 years before you won anything again. United have gone 6 years. Arsenal a bit long. We've gone 6 months. Time, if it's like this time next season, then do it. But he's got the new manager. If he comes in, has got no window to play with. So he's got the same sort of players, and he might have them playing differently. So you get past the first game, you bounce, and you're just back to square one.
Yeah, I mean, Brad, is the worry if Leicester get what I do say hammered tomorrow? Do you think that could be it?
I think there's more of a worry that it might be it, but I would like to then hasten to add that even in our most prolific points of the seasons, we struggle against Liverpool at Anfield. A win at Anfield is very, very rare for us. It's very much cherished. You're one of the few sides that I look at as, and I know it's typically a media thing, but if you was to look at the big 7 clubs that everybody looks at to try and take big scalps at and still treasures when they really beat them, you're very much like Man City in the eyes that I always feel a lot more confident taking you on at home than I ever do going to a place. I feel very, very nervous about going to your ground. I mean, you beat us 4-1, 4-0. Man City is similar. They tore us apart, minus that 20-minute madness. They tore us apart on Boxing Day. We very struggle to get them results. So it would just be a case of, it would just be sort of not what's needed right now for the club and the manager. But the belief I have in the owners and the way they've seemed to have changed since the Championship and League One days. Well, we went through that stage, didn't we, of sacking managers every 6 months, like we were Watford in disguise. They've learned from that, and they realise this division can punish you very badly and very quickly, and it can all go sour if you make the wrong move with acquisitions of players, staff, anything. You get one decision really badly, Peter Taylor, it can destroy your club, and it can destroy your club for a long time. We can laugh and sit here, but guys, how many years? How many years does it take our club to recover just to become a Premiership side again consistently, let alone achieving the things that we have? And that's probably more to why I'm Brendan in. But yes, I am. You can never rule it out, so I am fearful that a big result, especially if it's like a 4-5-0 and it's so gutless like Forest, then that might even start to sway me towards maybe there's nothing Brendan can do as a manager to turn this around.
But guys, do you think that tomorrow night, if we lose, we lose? I mean, like you say, it's Liverpool. We very rarely win at Anfield. It's all down to the performance. If we'd lost to Forest and we'd gone down fighting, I mean, we lost 6-3 to Man City, but we went down fighting for a bit of the game. If we'd done that, I think we'd be talking a completely different conversation. And if it hadn't been Nottingham Forest as well, because you get cup upsets. And those two things made it worse. What we were talking about after Newport, we were in the same. But if we lose to Liverpool, it's almost a given. But it's the performance. To me, it's the next game against West Ham, because that's at home. And
that's
that crowd is going to be, it's going to be like throwing the Christians to the Lions.
That's the big worry for me, is that game, because you look at that and it is a huge game. Like it is at home, so the fans will be very, very much expecting. But the way I see it, and I think chat, if you agree with me or this is similar comparisons to Rodgers' final full season at Liverpool, the 14-15 season. Everything just went wrong. Everything was going completely wrong. Steven Gerrard went away to USA. He didn't get the players he wanted. He was losing in Europe. I think we went out. I think if my memory serves me correctly, I think we went out to Oldham Athletic in the FA Cup. And you've just gone out to, your biggest rivals, undoubtedly, in, Nottingham Forest. He had the tendency to lose games really, really badly. Obviously, the Stoke 6-1 game, that was when a lot of fans turned on him, for sure. But the thing is, for me, it's his stubbornnness to change things, I think, that's letting him down. It's his stubbornness that's letting him down. And yes, I know you've had injuries. We had injuries last season, and I can see from what you can say as well. There has to be, you can lose a game, but you don't give up, and that's what I thought you did against Nottingham Forest. At 3-0 down, you completely gave up. Yes, I know Iheanacho scored, and Bryce Samba, I don't know where he's going. He basically gives Iheanacho the whole of the open goal to aim at. But from saying that, there is a way of losing, and I just felt you were not up for it. And that made me question, is Rodgers coming to the end of his, I wouldn't say tenure as Leicester manager, but maybe the end of this current squad of players. Maybe he needs to freshen it up a little bit. So that is why I'm just saying, I just think there are similar comparisons to what is going on at Leicester this season. And look, you can have one bad season. It's how you respond to next season. And if you have a season where it starts off, it doesn't start off very, very well. Liverpool got rid of Rodgers in October the 3rd. October the 3rd is when Liverpool got rid of Rodgers after a 1-1 draw with Everton, because it was not working. The season started off very, very bumpety. There were good times, and there was a bump in the road, and then that was it. We just weren't consistent enough. I would give Rodgers the overhaul in the summer. I think that would be a good way to go about it. Considering what happens at the end of this season, where you finish is another matter as well. So just wait and see. I agree with Chris. I don't think it's the right time to get rid of him, because whoever comes in is not going to have a transfer window, is not going to have enough time to get his ideas across. I would keep him for now. So, guys, get your comments.
I think we mentioned earlier, didn't we, that like the likes of Fergie, as long as he was at Man United, how many different teams did he have? He went along and he sort of refreshed the team and rebuilt a new team and went on to win it again. And we don't know with Rodgers. We say it's his third season, but we don't know. If you'd ridden out that season and you may have finished 4th, 5th at the end, what might have happened, like you say, the following season. So,
yeah. 100%. Guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe, and also share out the stream as well to other Liverpool fans, or other Foxes fans, I should say, to come and watch. There have been a lot of comments, so let me just pull my way back up here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Get the Big Sam to pottery anyway. I did see Rich is in the chat. Hello, Rich. Hope you're doing well. Great panel tonight. Yep, I would absolutely agree with that. It's just not the manager. If the players in that locker room can't pull together to do what's asked of them, then it's down to them too. Yeah, I think there's some players that have let Rodgers down this season. Hi, Sebastian. Bainel Seb. And with Vardy, Maya too, as he seems more interested in the teams he has.
He's out injured.
Yeah, he is out injured.
He's out injured. So that's why he's able to focus on the club that he's just got a purchase in. So don't read into that. He's got a stake now in a club. He's injured. He's been given the permission, obviously, by the club to go. He's not missing an action. He's not gone on strike. He's out for another probably 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah. Chris explained why he's Rodgers and very well. Would we have predicted Leicester back-to-back top 6 finishes in FA Cup win before the 2019-20 season? No, I don't think we would have. But that was a. I have just seen it is 2-0 to City. I did see that. Hello, John Moore. Thank you for tuning in. Spuds are going 2-1 up apparently as well. Up the is that up the Clarets? Up the
Chelsea?
Up the Chelsea? I have no idea.
Knowing Mike, it could be anything. Let's be honest.
It could be anything.
The first C word I thought of.
Leicester players have no fire in their bellies at the moment, from what I can see. I think that's fair enough to say that. When you start saying the stuff against the fans, you have to go. Against the fans, yes. I mean, it's okay to criticise if they've been banged out of order and say, come on, that's not who we are, but yeah. I think Rodgers should stay for now, but if results don't improve, then I think he goes in the summer. Exactly what I have just said. Give Rodgers the benefit of the doubt. I do agree with Doug, though he is stubborn. Yeah.
Oh, he is.
He is. Yeah. Even on here, pal, now, United TV. Oh, yeah, Mike Green's got 2 channels now. He's got United TV and he's got his Mike Green. Rodgers should have been sacked like 1 month ago. But the thing is, the owners of Leicester, he's got a good relationship with them. So I can't see why he would go. Does Rodgers have any fight left? I still think he'll have fight.
I think his post-match and reaction says that all against Forest, because I think that's the first time we've probably seen the emotions flare from Rodgers with his reactions to a post-match. We have been screaming out as Leicester fans that we'd like to see a bit more on the touchline than him clapping like a seal. And maybe he watches some of our shows every so often, because do see a bit more from him, and that there's definitely fight in him to get this right.
Yeah, Southampton have just equalised, by the way, so it's 2-2. 2-2. Who do you think are the Leicester City team leaders, and what are they doing to boost the squad? That's a good question. Neil, what do you think?
Well, the leaders are, if everybody's fit, they are Jamie Vardy, Kasper Schmeichel, Johnny Evans. I say they're the 3 big ones. In terms of they've been around, they've been with the squad a long time, and they know what they're doing. Kasper Schmeichel's been here since 2011. I mean, he knows this club inside out, and one thing he wants to do is be like a one-club man. So, yeah, he's all right. They are leaders, but another comment is like, we don't have any leaders. And it's things like that. You're just like, well, we do. We do. And you've called upon them before. And so now you're doing a 180 when things aren't working and finding other excuses as well, which I'm not a fan of. And it's not saying, I'm not saying, oh, we should sack Rodgers immediately. It's me going, look, I've gone to the out bandwagon. Doesn't mean that I'm screaming from the hilltops, get out of my club. It means, look, I think the timing is done now. And it can, like the Liverpool, for example, it does look like we're only going in one direction. I'm not saying, then I think the majority of Leicester fans, I think even Brendan Rodgers has wrote off the season already. But making comments and things like that is only making the fan base and things worse at the moment. And that's what's kind of annoying at the moment. I can see where we're going, and I've seen it. The history has told us as well. And that's why I'm kind of in this position. So in terms of leadership, coming back to the question, I think we do have enough leaders, enough people to get that done. But again, Kasper Schmeichel was one of them. Why did you decide to bench him in a game against your rivals? He knows this club. So that's the kind of thing where I was like, right, okay, you're saying one thing, but your actions are actually working against you here. So if you were consistent with your actions, I'd back you. But there is definitely some merit to him. But then there's some things that he does which doesn't work with what he's saying as well.
Yeah, 100%. Chris, me and you had this chat earlier, and you have to feel for Soyuncu because he hasn't really had a central defensive partner to last the whole season. It keeps changing. So do you think his struggles are because of that?
They said with Soyuncu that he plays better when he's got a Wes Morgan or a Johnny Evans next to him. And, you know, the two arguments are that one, yes, you buy a player to fit into the squad that you've got so that they all get on. And then the other argument is, well, he should be able to play better with, on his own anyway. You know, if you're good enough, you're good enough. Look, he had a totally and utterly shit Euros, then he's come back from that completely down, and he's coming to a team that is all. And if he's coming back into this, this we were now talking about last season, you're on a team that's up, it's winning, it's going, and that gets you going. But he's coming to a team that's struggling. He doesn't know one day to the next who his partner's going to be in that back 3, 4, 5, whichever way Brendan wants to play it. And Brendan's had to make changes because of the injuries. And it just doesn't help. How often have you woken up in the morning thinking, I've got to go to work, I'm feeling down, and you go in and everybody else is buzzing and it gets you going. But if you go in and everybody else is a bit that way, it kind of just it stays all the time. So I haven't seen them, but these rumours apparently he wants out. I don't know. But no, I think there's a lot of individual blame that you could hang about, but you've also got to consider what we've gone through.
Southampton have just done a Leicester or a Tottenham.
Against Spurs.
3-2. They're 3-2 up on Spurs. That's
a shame, isn't it?
No, it's not. That gets his point. Wow.
Leeds have equalised at Villa as well. So some interesting games for sure. But yeah, I would definitely say that not having Johnny Evans there has really been a detrimental effect on Leicester as well. Just coming to obviously talk about Brendan Rodgers' signings, Brad. Vestergaard, I know he's not been the best signing. Let's put it this way. Bertrand as well. I know he's been in and out of the side. What have you made of his signings this season?
Look, they were made with the principle of exactly what they were. We were negotiating with a free agent, and we were negotiating with a guy that's going to cost you 15 million. Which, given if you'd have said to me, start of the season, you're only missing Fofana with that horrific leg breaking injury that happened in a goddamn friendly, but we move. I'd have been going, that's all right. He's probably going to make a few cup appearances. He's probably going to play in and around the Christmas period for some rotation. That's exactly what this club needs right now. It's adding to that depth as well as the quality, with Samore coming in, etc. I thought we'd found the fine balance. Unfortunately, quicker than probably the player and Brendan wanted, he was exposed to first team football. So he wasn't really able to get up to scratch and kind of wean his way into it and get into it. And unfortunately, when you then have to step in after 6 or 7 weeks out in the cold, your team's not already doing well. You've already got a defender who's a nervous wreck. You then have to partner him alongside that nervous wreck of a defender. It doesn't make it any easier when you're not really somebody that the fans take to. They know you're not going to be a first team player, so they don't hold you as dear in your heart. It's not easy. I understand his acquisitions, and I think given what they were brought in for, they were reasonable acquisitions to make. There was no reason that I ever looked at, Vestergaard and Bertrand coming in and didn't think, well, they're not necessary signings. They have been necessary. They just haven't been, unfortunately, able to replicate what they've done. And going quickly just on the Soyuncu point as well, the problem is, and I've said this about Soyuncu a few times, is you look back over any strong partnership for any club, and I'm sure you being a Liverpool fan can name many Liverpool partnerships that are the same as this, you always seem to have 2, maybe 3 players that work very well together. But if one of that jigsaw, if the big piece of the jigsaw, i.e. in this case Evans, or as we've seen, when it's not Evans, Fofana, the one that has the smarter, more educated football brain, to be nice, is Soyuncu, and kind of commanding things, reading the game better, etc. When you find that big piece of the jigsaw missing from that, you suddenly expose somebody to their biggest weakness, is they don't know how to lead. I mean, we might joke here, but we would say when someone like Ndidi, who clearly commands that defensive midfield line, has been in our back line, is probably when we've been our most solid. And that's no coincidence that a solid leader is what's needed by Soyuncu. But yeah, in terms of Brendan's signing, though, to just kind of tie that up nicely, it's just been a bit chaotic that unfortunately signings are your third choices. You know, Bertrand, he's out for the season, but even if he was fit, he's behind Castagna, he's behind Pereira, he's behind Justin now, and behind Thomas. Same goes for Vestergaard, a fully fit back four, he's 4th, 5th choice. And unfortunately, he's been exposed to so much football so quickly that he's just not had the best time. It's not been a great one. But
yeah,
we don't know what's going to happen if he's still here in the summer. If they're all still here in the summer, we may get the best of money value for them next season. We will see.
Emerson has been at fault for all 3. Is that Emerson Royale?
Emerson Royale, I think.
Yeah, I've not been too impressed with him.
He got dragged at half time against us, and he was absolutely woeful.
That absolutely makes me absolutely even more better, because the amount of Tottenham swooning I've seen over his performance over in the FA Cup out of that's just
Nipun, good evening. Apparently he says nobody wants this 4th spot. Well, West Ham are in 4th at the moment, which is quite funny. Good evening to Hearts of Liverpool. Now, for many people know, it was Jamie Phillips Football Chats, but I believe that Jamie has now got an affiliation with that Liverpool charity, so it's now Hearts of Liverpool. So guys, please go and check that out, and go over and give Jamie a subscribe as well. Andy Murray wins, yes. Yanks of the Cop, OMG. I have not seen that page in here for a long time. So is it Steve? Is it who is it? I can't remember the other guy's name. Alex? I know it's not Wahome, but whoever it is, good evening and welcome to the stream. In my opinion, without Vardy, LCFC doesn't have the fun part of football and it's wearing on them. Has Vardy been a bigger miss than you think it would have been?
I think he's a dressing room miss. I definitely think he's a character. I don't think he tolerates players that get down in the dumps, but in a nice way. I think he will kind of give them a stare or have a few words with them to kind of say, look, I ain't giving up. So I sure as hell ain't allowing you to give up. If you're on the pitch with me, we can still do this. Yeah. I think he does have that mentor. I mean, some players, some fans have suggested give the captaincy to Vardy. I think there's certain personalities that you need to just keep as a voice, but not make him like an official title. I think he's one of them. And I do think he's missing. The one thing he's obviously not missing in, even though we keep chopping and changing, although that could depend on how Brendan's thinking for the cup, obviously. But the one thing we Leicester fans are a bit relieved about in this madness is it seems that we're not, when the time does come, we're not going to miss his goal threat up front in terms of, because we've got Daka, who's doing so well early days into his Leicester career. But as a dressing room presence and a presence on that pitch, I think there's more belief. If you take that Forest game, for example, and Vardy's playing in that game after Iheanacho scores, I could almost imagine that Brendan just sits back and goes, I need my ace up my sleeve here to get this going. And then the fans feel like we could have done something more. I think without him there is that lack of extra emphasis to still go for a game when it seems dead and buried.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to build on to that point as well, the issue hasn't been scoring goals this season. The issue has been defending them. We've scored 34 in the Premier League this season. I think in all competitions, we've conceded over 50 goals, or in all competitions so far. It's been a really tough defensively. Again, it doesn't help with injuries and yes, people going in and out, but 50 goals and there's kind of, that's my thing as well. The going forward is fine. I think we're more than happy with the players we've got and even available. It's the defensive problem. And the point, for example, when it was like Nottingham Forest were just walking through our midfield and last season, that never happened to Ndidi and Tielemans. They were some of the best duos in the Premier League as in double pivot. They were unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like at times, it looks like the Wild West. As soon as they get the ball, and it's just every man for themselves. And people are running in all different directions. So Yunchi doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, Vestergaard's coming out of position. He can't run back fast enough. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, it is. Hello, it is Steve. I did wonder who it was, and who was going, oh, my youngsters in. I want Tottenham in that fourth spot. I don't want animal abuse. Oh, I'm not going to get into that.
No, can we leave it there now?
Let's leave it there, Nippon. Thank you. We'll be back soon on my own. Congrats on your awesome AFCON content success. Thank you very, very much. As well. The Invisible Steve is back, just messing. And a lot of people saying hello to Steve. Spurs 4 have got to be with the games in hand. Yep. Steve coming back is like James Bond coming back after a while. Spurs, the F are you doing? Is it 4-2 now? Oh, God.
No.
You know what?
3-3, Bergwijn.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
Well, that's all right, because I did actually predict a 1-1 draw between those two.
I don't actually remember if I went with the draw or Saints win. I know we put Steve down for a draw, but I don't remember, Chris. Am I on for that if it's drawing?
I'm just going to have a look now, mate.
It's offside. It's offside. It remains 3-2 Saints.
Oh,
it remains 3-2.
We love VAR. Brad, we all went for Man City Brentford. What's Norwich and Palace doing?
Norwich are beating Palace 1-0, I think.
No, it's 1-1
oh
now,
my
which
God.
is what I went for.
I've just had a thought.
Fuck's sake, Norwich.
Everton are going to be dragged into it now.
Ooh.
Holy shit. Right. We'll move on from this part.
You went for a draw with Tottenham.
We'll move on from this part and talk. We'll move on from this part and talk about your ineffective of defending set pieces. It has been a big Achilles heel this season. Chris, you said something that actually struck me really, really well. You actually said that anyone having a set piece against Leicester ends up in a goal. Is that true?
It felt like it. I can't defend our defending, to be honest with you. See what I did there?
Not our defence.
Yeah. Pretty king, yeah. I can't claim to have said that. It was actually a commentator on one of the games on one of the channels, and as soon as he said it, because the opposition had a corner, they scored. We're not as bad as we were as such, because we've gone from we were zonal marking, and I hate zonal marking.
Yes.
They've all got the zone, and somebody comes running in, and nobody knows what to do and who's supposed to be marking them. They've gone more now back to man. Still not brilliant at defending, but that was the whole problem which we've already spoken about. But yeah, we're not as bad as we were. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, definitely. Yanks of the Cop has actually said you're missing Fofana. I 100% agree.
We're missing Evans and Fofana because they both show leadership on that pitch. I mean, the kid's 20 years of old, and since the day he stepped foot onto the King Power, since his first appearance, he showed he had a footballing brain of a 30-year-old. We've missed both of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I said earlier, I think, and if you list all of our defenders that at some point have been injured during the season: Bertrand, Vestergaard, Evans, Fofana, Soyuncu, Castagna, Ricardo, Justin. At some point,
Thomas was out with illness as well. You've got
Thomas, yeah. I mean, that's literally 10 defenders almost at some point.
It's mental, man. Absolutely mental.
How can you have a good defensive strategy? And I know, we've been mad about the set piece goals, and but that just sort of sums the season up, really.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Helen, I did say it was 3-2 as well. Well, we will move on from Brendan Rodgers under pressure to the last few meetings between Liverpool and Leicester, which makes very interesting reading. It's three wins to Liverpool, 2 wins to Leicester. Now, obviously, Leicester won 3-1 at the King Power, and then obviously the last meeting was obviously that 1-0 win from Ademola Lookman, who I believe scored for Fulham at Anfield when obviously we were on that really, really bad run. But your record at Anfield is pretty poor. I will say that now. I've just checked. The last time you beat us was 2000. 2000 was the last time you beat us at Anfield. So, Neil, I keep saying this. It would be the most Leicester thing to go to Anfield and actually get a result.
Yeah, it would be. This is the thing with Leicester City. I genuinely don't know what's going to happen. Like the 1-0, everything was written in the stars. I remember saying to you, I kind of didn't believe it. I said to you, I think in the DMs, Doug, I was like, anything can happen this game. Don't expect, but anything can happen. And it did. And we just went, where the hell has this come from? And where's this team been the entire season? We just turned up in that game. I do think the players will be up for it because it's Liverpool. It's a massive team. And so again, if it's a free hit for us. If we win, we might win, maybe. But if we get any points, it's a free hit. So this isn't going to define our season. And as you were saying, like in terms of Brendan Rodgers, this result, if we lose, for example, 5-0, it will be just continuation of what's already occurred. So it's not changing that much, if that makes sense. So you look at it that way, and it's just a free hit for us. Whatever will happen, will happen. I mean, with Leicester, anything is possible, but we'll have to see what happens. But the way that you're going to turn up is going to be completely different to the Liverpool team and the performance that you did against us at home. So it might be embarrassing, but we'll stick by the team. I think the Nottingham Forest one was a massive result. The fact that everybody just down tools, and that was the most important. If we lost 2-1 or we lost 4-1, but we put in all our effort, I'm like, fair enough, no problem. And and that's the thing at the moment. So all we want, again, in terms of, even though I'm Brendan out, just put in a good performance, lads. That's all I want to see. Even if we get absolutely tranced, I'm happy to put in a good performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, obviously, I'm looking at the League Cup game, and you were 3-1 up at half time in that game. How you didn't see that game out, I will never know.
You had to come to me for that one, didn't you? You just had to. That's me unfollowing you on Twitter. No, I can remember the O'Neill days when, we fought to the end. These guys remember the 3-3 against Arsenal at Filbert Street. It was
my first game. That was my first game, mate.
Yeah. I mean, that was the sort of the sort of... I can't think of the word I'm looking for now, but that was the Leicester then. We fought till the end. If it was 97 minutes, it was 97 minutes. We do kind of, we kind of have lost that a little bit. And I think what happened at Liverpool, we were winning. He took the players off because we got, a match, because it was just before Christmas. We got a match a few days later. He went defensive. Yeah. And then you obviously brought your big guns on, and we hadn't got anything sort of, left. But it was just like the forerunner of the Tottenham game a few weeks later.
Yeah, it certainly was. But
kind of sums up Leicester's season this season. That match kind of sums up Leicester this season in a nutshell. Brendan Rodgers get the tactics wrong, defensively not there, attacking wise very good, being let down the defenders, and just that kind of and then we end up losing the game to penalties. Most of the penalties were actually not too bad, but the couple that went over in terms of the Bertrand penalty wasn't very good. Luke Thomas wasn't a great penalty, but it will just be as Leicester lost from 3-1 down. Yeah. So there's a lot more analysis when you watch game in, game out than just Leicester lost from 3-1 up. Yes, but we like football. It's easier than just watching Match of the Day or a 3-minute highlight on YouTube.
Yeah, 100%. And Brad, obviously, that last meeting was obviously you guys beating us by a 0-0. I have to say, I still say that you guys deserved that game that night, because We were trying shots from about 30 plus yards. Henderson had about 3 or so volleys that went nowhere near the net. We missed the penalty that night, but Schmeichel that day was probably man of the match because he had so many saves as well. But I think he could be in for a busy night tomorrow.
Yeah, he normally is. He normally is when we play a team like yourself. But I've kind of just taken the same mentor as I did when we played you at the King Power, and that was I've actually gone for a Leicester win for no more reason than when we played you at home. I was the only one that went for a Leicester win, and out of the panel. On ours, I think you went for a draw, didn't you, Chris? And it ended up coming true with fruition. So optimistic. It's always difficult when we play against you, and I think I have to agree with the words that have already been voiced. The performance is what's key. It always is when you're on a run like this, and you come up against a team like Liverpool. You have to be prepared to really break the game down as a whole, because it's going to be easy for media. Liverpool beat Leicester 3-1 or a score similar to that, and it'd be trouble, woes, Rodgers out, fake, that dreaded vote of confidence we spoke about or something like that. And the media will absolutely spin it. But whereas us as Leicester fans will watch it, and we could watch a game that for 89 minutes is end to end, and we end up going for broke, saying we'd rather lose it 3-1, trying to get it to 2-2 than not bother. And, we get caught on a 93rd minute counter, and you go and make it 3-1 that way. It's a whole different prospect of the game. We all say it's a cliche, there's ways to lose the game, but it just, I think it maybe doesn't show how desperate it is, because realistically, Leicester actually haven't changed so much since that game that Chris mentioned, because yes, they always seem to turn up and pull out an even better performance against the bigger sides. But I actually ironically remember that season because we were unbeaten when we drew with Arsenal in the 97th minute. And then and I even remember on the video, the commentator said, frustratingly, Leicester's unbeaten start to the season ended with a 1-0 defeat to Sheffield Wednesday. I think they got a penalty and Carboni took it, and we lost 1-0 at Hillsborough. So we're still inconsistent. I'm always having jokes, Chris. I've always joked that Leicester are most consistent at being inconsistent.
Roller coaster ride following Leicester.
So it wouldn't actually surprise me, although the odds and my football logic brain switched on feels that it's going to be nothing else but Liverpool walking out of Anfield with 3 points nicely tucked away. There is some hope there that maybe we can frustrate you if we do what we did to you, like you said, 30 yards. And if we don't, going back to the stubbornness point, if we don't make that defensive pivot, if we find ourselves in front, we slap on 3 or 4 central defensive midfielders. Common mistakes that have been made this season. Spurs a glaring one. You in the Carabao Cup, another one. If Brendan learns, like he has from the set pieces, from corners, to go where he's kind of gave up his approach and admitted that the lads don't like and can't play zone and marking, so we've gone back to the comfort. If he doesn't do that mistake and we do find ourselves in front and we defend well, we frustrated Spurs. People forget that. Yeah, comical 80 seconds, all have a laugh at Leicester. But up until then, they were having pot shots from 30 yards. And if we do that and find a way and do it in typical Leicester fashion, there's always that hope that we can upset Liverpool fans a bit more this season. It'd just be ironic to have a crap season but end up doing a league double over you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you haven't done that since the was it this 98-99 season? I think it was under Martin O'Neill, if I remember. Here we go.
I'm trying to think.
Dan. Leicester to start the rot, Burnley on Sunday. Yeah, okay. It was 2000. The last time.
Whenever I see Dan, I always get a neck ache from looking down the table to see where he is.
Yeah, it's that bad. We take Nout as a win. It's finished 3-2 Saints. Conte is fuming. Yeah, I know it's 1-1. That's fair, Chris. Justina Helen. Hello, Maisie. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you are well. Big up everyone in the chat. Says Niall. City 12 points ahead. Yeah, I have seen that. It's loads of people speaking as well. Sorry, Douglas.
I'm just what I'm going to say
now. The Spurs the Spurs result has just made me think that their virus of bottling it might have just passed off onto us, because I think we caught it and we've maybe got over the lurgy now, and Spurs have gone back to owning the rightful crowd of getting battered everywhere they go.
Yeah,
10 days,
Douglas,
mate. We had COVID for a bit. We've handed it back on somebody else.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Sorry, Douglas, I'm just pissed off from what happened earlier on Twitter. We are definitely. I think Rodgers is more ego than talent, but hope LCFC improve, just not tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yes, I did see that as well. So we will come now to, this is an interesting one. Luis Diaz to start. There has been a lot of, well, obviously, and actually, it actually points into this one as well. Mane and Amartey have both, not Amartey, I was meant to say Mendy, have both just returned to England. Are we likely to see them play? I mean, Neil, can you see Mendy getting any minutes tomorrow?
Not really. He's fourth choice in Leicester City CDM position. I can't see him really starting. I can't remember. Guys, can you remember the last time he started a Premier League game? The only game I can think of is the 5-2.
He's not been in the squad, though, has he? For the first time.
I think he's officially joined with Benkovic coming out and him coming in. So I think he's officially part of the squad.
I think he possibly played in a League Cup game, but he couldn't play in any Premier League game because he wasn't in our registered squad. He's now gone in because we've sold Benkovic. But it's funny, he didn't make it into our Premier League squad, but he made it into the AFCON team of the tournament.
Yeah, I know, and it's quite incredible. It's quite incredible. I've just seen one comment that I just want to say. Nipun, if anyone makes fun of your autism, I myself have Asperger's, so I know how you feel. Basically, do not take any notice of them, and just do your own thing, because you just got just move on from it. Well, Sebastian, you do say that. I will be coming to team selections, and actually, Salah's in my starting 11, so I will come there to very, very quickly.
If I just quickly jump in on the question you asked about Mendy.
Yeah, it should be Mendy. I don't know where Amartey came in my head.
No, it's all right. I understand that. He obviously would have gone with Ghana if it as well. But I know it might sound a bit fast here, but I'm maybe trying to read too much into his comments. But Brendan made a statement on one of his match aftermath reports where he basically insinuated, and this is why this is for a whole different video, so I'll just give this part of it. But I actually think there is a slight chance Mendy plays. It all depends on which players Brendan was referring to when he said he now has the feeling that certain players are maybe their attitude, maybe the way they're performing, feel that their their chapter at Leicester is done. Because he got asked the point, and the reporter, the female reporter, did quickly ask him, "Are you on about your time at Leicester?" And he said, "No, I'm on about certain players in here." And I know I said this to you, didn't I, Chris? I feel that maybe, even though 99% of the time when a manager starts throwing players under the bus, it's a desperate damn thing. You can see the end is nigh. But I actually feel that maybe he's cuddled a few players, wrapped a few in cotton wool, trying to be the nice guy manager, and he's now made the statement that this was the final straw. And I just wonder, with names, and I'm just going to come out and say it, and people can curse me for it if not, but he has been in trouble more than once at Leicester, and that is a certain Hamza Chowdhury. I'm not criticising his effort. This is just him and his personality. Yeah. Maybe he got to that point where Brendan's gone, enough. I'm sick of protecting you. You let me down too many times. Mendy's had a great tournament. Right, his registration might be on circumstances alone because we need to register one. But Brendan's not afraid to bring someone out of the cold and give him another chance. I would actually not be surprised if he made the 11 on that basis, and that might give a very stern point to what was made earlier. Maybe Leicester need to be the club to allow Brendan to recover that third season, and if the owners are willing and the rest of the squad's behind him, I actually still think there's a chance we see Mendy against Liverpool.
I'm a Mendy fan. I think last season when he was called upon at the start of last season, he didn't let us down. In fact, I think he played really, really well when he came in. And how he wasn't included in the squad when Benkovic was, and Benkovic had no chance of playing. You know, when you're pulling somebody in from the midfield and you're going to lose a certain thing in the midfield, and you're still pulling them in over Benkovic, what the fuck is he doing in the squad? You know,
Yeah.
But Mendy, I don't, you know, I mean, at one point it was our most expensive signing ever, and like I said, last season he didn't let us down. That said, I think he'll be in. I think he'll be on the bench, Brad. I don't think he'll be in the starting because of the timing. But you know, I think you've got to look at this play. You've got to look at all those players that are there, and as good as they are, do some players. Again, let's just name names for name's sake. Tielemans and Ndidi. Think because of who they are, they're in that squad. Whatever. You know, KDH
maybe they were until then. Maybe they were until the actions of Forest.
Yeah. But KDH has come in and he's performed very well. And to my mind, he keeps that position until he has a bad game, no matter who's behind you. You know, but you know, but then you get roasted as a manager if you lose. Well, why didn't you play Tielemans or Ndidi? Who'd be a manager? Let's be honest with you.
And when it goes wrong, who do the fans instantly start to blame for a lack of performance?
Indeed. You know, and you can't win. It's not, you know, we're all good at it on FIFA, but, you know, there we go.
I don't think Mane plays at all. Salah, Jota, Firmino, Diaz, Minamino all available. I bet Salah plays 60 and Mane 6 to be ready for Inter.
I heard Salah's not coming back to Liverpool until he gets a penalty. Is that true?
Oh, very funny. Very, very funny.
I can't even lay claim to that crap when I saw it on Twitter and it made me laugh after the
We just put that collusion in there to try and disrupt. That's the only chance we've got left. Put the collusion in there.
Sebastian Mane has just recently returned to Liverpool. I think he returned this evening, so I don't think he'll be ready as well. I think Mane's back home. Yeah. Special place in here. Yes, absolutely. Would agree. Yep, it's always the manager's fault, says Willow. Right.
The buck stops with the manager, doesn't it? At the end of the day, he's the guy that signs the players, and he's been there 3 seasons, so you can't say it's not his team anymore. Yeah. He's got out who he wanted to get out.
Yeah. And some Leicester fans might not like this, but if we really cast our minds, since we won the Premier League title, I just wanted to get that point in there. It's not since that, but it's more recent and knowledgeable since that. I don't like to criticise my own team as much as I can, but I always try and see things as unbiased as I can, unless it's my cousin, you know, Bambo. Basically, there's no smoke without fire, and we seem to always get reports that there's certain players causing mischief, and that's what's got me more thinking with Rodgers' words after the cup match, that there is some players that are quick to unrest the dressing room, and no matter how good you are, yes, some individual greats will overcome that, but I feel there's some players that are a bit, I don't want to upset that player, and maybe that's also
it feels like either Rodgers has got beef with his squad, or the squad will go beef with Rodgers. Just reminds me of you can't use beef stew as a password. It's not strong enough.
Oh God! Oh dear! But yeah, you think about it though. Puel, same thing was said. There were certain players apparently not working well for him. Yeah, I agree with that, Chris. You know, Ranieri. We don't know exactly all the ins and outs, but there was fire about when there was smoke in the air, and you know when there was rumours that players are down in tools for him. It does seem like there's still some rotten eggs and maybe in the group. Try to avoid that swiftly with the noise effect of Chris there.
No, I get you totally. I really do, Brad. But yeah, it will always be the manager. He's the one that's paid to make these decisions. And like you say, you buggered it if you do, you buggered if you don't. Like I say, if he drops Tielemans, let's say, on Ndidi tomorrow night and puts KDH in there, and you're going through our midfield like a butter through knife, everybody will go at him. But if he doesn't and he picks Tillman and Indeed and say, well, why did you stick with them? They were rubbish. You can't win as
Give the youngsters a chance. Yeah.
Every game down the King Power, there's a 32,000 managers that all think we can do better than Rodgers can.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
It's easier to sack one man than it is to sack 25 men at once.
It is.
In that case.
Very, very true. Right, we'll come to starting 11s. Neil, what do you think the starting 11 for Leicester will be tomorrow?
I think we'll probably, yeah, exactly. It's literally he's been chopping and changing, partly down to injury and partly just you've done that. Why? So you're looking at again probably Kasper Schmeichel in goal. If it was me, I'd go for. I'd if it worked before, I'd keep the same. So I'd keep the centre backs of Wilfred Ndidi and Daniel Amati as your two centre backs. James Justin one side, Luke Thomas the other, and then have your three in the middle. So three players that are just going to get in people's faces. So Samore, put Tillemans in, and then give KDA to go as well. Maddison up top, and then you play. And this is the problem up top as your front two. You're going to play Daka, but I don't know if you're going to go for Barnes, you're going to go for Lookman, because speaking to Liverpool fans, they're scared of Lookman as well. But you got Barnes, you got Iheanacho, so it's really hard to get all of these attacking players in that team. However, we're going to have to try and pack that midfield just to cope with it, because with the midfielders you've got and the strength of them, it's going to be hard. It's really going to be hard. So I think they're going to have to compromise that and then try and hit them on the counter. So up front, I would go for Iheanacho and Daka.
Okay, Chris?
Writing it down as I speak, just making sure I have got 11 players in there because I did that.
Yeah, I'll count on my fingers if you want, Chris. You go and I'll count.
You're not from Norfolk, are you? Yesterday we had a quiz, like I say, on the Liverpool channel yesterday, and the decider was what club in England and Wales doesn't have any letters from the word football in it. And I quite confidently went with Ayr United, and I couldn't believe that I was wrong. But it had the A in the first bloody letter, and of course that's in football. So I'm double checking everything. But yeah, I'd start with Kasper. You know, I mean, I think Ward came in because it was a cup game.
Top game.
Yeah, and I think Ward is, in fairness, usually very reliant, and you can't blame him for all those goals. You know, Marty doing the blind pass back, you know, whatever. I'm like a four at the back man. So I've got Thomas on the left. Very much agree with Neil. Let's bring Ndidi back in there. Amate hasn't done anything wrong at all, and that's something I never thought I'd say a few seasons ago. Amate in there.
Red card walking, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. And Justin on the right. Now in the midfield, you've got to have Tillemans. Well, so you've got to have Tillemans in there, have you? But I have put exactly. I put Tillemans in there because of his experience, and then I've got Lookman on the left because you know I think you know that's his favoured position, and I've actually got Ricardo on the right of the three. Move him forward because again that's the role he's played for us.
Is he available?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Is he back from fitness? Is he back from
he played against
Forest, didn't he?
Forest. Yeah.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Sorry, it was that much of a disaster. I didn't even realise he came on. I was crying in the corner.
Yeah. So I'd bring him up to that right side of midfield, and then Maddison is a game changer. Maddison needs one good free kick and what have you. You've got to have Maddison on. And unfortunately, if I'm only having the one up front, it's got to be. I'm sorry, I love Nacho to bits, and I think he's been treated badly by Rodgers, but I've got to put Daka. I've got to put Daka up there because we know that the way Vardy plays, he plays best against the big teams. You give him space, and that's going to work better for Daka than Nacho.
Yeah, Steve, you've ensured the wrath of Liz by talking about James Milner. It's James freaking Milner. I need to just say that. So hello, Michael. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, Douglas and panel. I respect Leicester, but we need to smash them 5-1. Well, I've seen some predictions in there. My goodness me. Dan. 9-0 only happens to Southampton. It doesn't happen to Leicester, so that ain't happening.
Oh, well, thanks for that, Doug. When we lose 9-0, I'm blaming you.
I'm just having a happy moment to remember when we won 9-0. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. And who was two of the defenders in the Southampton team?
Moving on.
Yeah.
Exactly. 1-0 Leicester, says Mike.
I love that man. Man United fans are the salt of the earth.
Rodgers gets sacked. Can he take prick Boris with him to the job centre? Oh, interesting. Right, score predictions. What are you going for? Neil, what are you going for?
I'm going for 1-1. I have to back my team, even though I don't want the manager in charge. I'm going to see if we can get a draw out of this game, because you have to back your own team at the end of the day.
Yeah. Chris?
Well, we've said there the biggest away win is 9-0. Why can't we go for 10 tomorrow? I'm joking apart. So this is only pop, by the way. It's not vodka or anything. But no, I've agreed with Neil. I've gone for 1-1, and that's being optimistic, to be honest with you. That's my heart. I just can't. I can never predict Leicester to actually lose, which is probably why I'm bottom of the prediction league at the moment.
Maybe not much longer the way they're going at results. So Spurs have probably helped a lot.
But I've gone 1-1. I agree, but it's all about the performance tomorrow.
Brad?
Oh God! I mean, pick a lineup and then give me a score. I need to see what team I took. I just did a lineup because I realised I had my lovely whiteboard and Chris was writing this down. If my team comes out and plays, he says fairly confidently, waiting for disaster to happen if he sees it and it goes wrong, would be kind of like a 4-3-3, I guess. It would be. Because I don't know what shape Liverpool tend to go at, but I think it's the best way to sort of counter them. I'm going to go. Yeah. My team quickly would be obviously Schmeichel in goal, JJ on the left, Pereira on the right, Amati and Soyuncu as the back. Just because, unfortunately, we're stuck with that at the moment. We don't have a leader. We can't put one in there. But my midfield, I'm making sure I've done the numbers right now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
No, I'll just check mine. You know, having said that, I only had 10 players.
I've got Yuri Tillemans, KDH, and Wilfred and Ndidi holding the middle, with James Madison holding the line, and I'm going with 2 up front with Daka and Ademola Lookman on the right. If we play like that and we can push you out, it keeps the gaps open for us. And you know what? You only live once. I said we'd beat you last time and I got laughed at when we beat you. So, shock on the cards. Liverpool to lose 3-1.
3-1. Oh, well.
I might as well go die on the hill of North Macedonia, like I did every time, and just go big and go home.
Well, I think Leicester could lose 3-1 if we only put 10 players out, like I did.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I
will add KDH into my midfield.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had him in at the last second and I realised I was one short, to be fair.
I've just
the Leicester are shit this season.
It's because I'm used to putting Perez in the team and automatically having us down to 10.
Well, that's true.
I've just actually realised I haven't given my Liverpool team. So my Liverpool team is Alisson in goal. It'll be Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robbo. And then I'm going to go Fabinho, Thiago, Elliott. And then I'm going to go Diaz, Jota, Salah. I think that'll be the team that plays.
That's not nice just to hear that in itself.
No, just stop it, will you?
Yeah. It's and he picks it out of the hat like he's having sweets. I love that one.
Yeah. You know what they say, the bigger you are, the further you have to fall.
Yeah. And we are rock bottoms. We happily take you with us.
As long as Diego bloody Jota doesn't score, I can take losing to Liverpool. I just cannot stand him.
I'm gonna go. Funnily enough, I said this on Chris's stream earlier. I think it's gonna be a lot closer than many people think. I've actually gone 2-1 Liverpool. I think it's going to be a lot closer than many people think, and I just think we'll just sneak it. I think you guys will score. But I just think your vulnerability from set pieces will give us a lot of confidence. So that is why.
Does that 2-1 include a Liverpool penalty taken by Salah or not?
No. I think Diogo Jota will score because he always scores against Leicester City.
Yeah, I hate
asking for a friend.
Apart from the last match.
That's true.
He joins the list. He joins the list like Kane and what's his name, Rudiger at Chelsea. It's nothing. Well, Kane's more of a.
I just want revenge after what happened to the King Power. Says Michael. Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. Vardy's not available. Elevator and escalator fan. So I would probably say Daka. Then Diaz. Then I highly doubt Mane will get any minutes, but you never know. Luis Diaz 2 goals. Vamos. Yes, I would like Luis Diaz to score. I don't like LCFC as a defensive strength to win. Luis Diaz will score.
Pack the midfield.
Score Vamos. Game is airing on BT Sport tomorrow. Yep, I'm missing it because I'm at work. Rodgers to lace up his boots because he thinks he can. Last thing I need is Leicester to do the league double over this. When was the last time any team did the Premier League double over Liverpool? Oh, now you've got me asking. Do you know who I think it was? I think it was Blackpool.
Jesus.
Blackburn, I think it was, wasn't it?
I think it was Blackpool.
Or was it Blackpool done it since?
It was Blackpool.
I know who did do it a long, long time ago. When Jock Wallace was manager, Leicester City did the double over you.
Yeah.
And we got relegated and we beat you 2-1 and we even scored your goal for you.
Yeah, you did. Harvey and Lewis masterclass. Well, hopefully. Good team, Douglas the Lionhearted. Yes, I absolutely love when you call me Douglas the Lionhearted. It's very, very nice. I don't think Salah will start, but if he does, Foxes beware. Oh, then maybe Daka. Yeah, absolutely.
He started in the first game, and the only thing that has to beware was the crossbar.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to get you on and speak about the game tomorrow. Neil, just shout your socials and where people can find you.
Yeah, so you can find us probably crying after the Liverpool game, but you'll find us at Beyond the 90 LCFC. So yeah, thanks for having us on, Doug. But yeah, I think people already know Beyond the 90 LCFC, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, all that good stuff. But yeah, thanks for having me on once again.
Thank you, Chris and Brad, I should say, because both of you are on obviously Leicester Till I Die. Shout out your socials.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, like Neil said. And it's at Leicester TID on Twitter and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube.
Absolutely. And Brad, are you your full-time focus, aren't you, on Twitter? Is that right?
Yeah, I am. That's my Twitter handle. You can find me on there. If there's any Leicester fans in the comment, you'll find me on this man's channel at Leicester Till I Die, doing some regular content for him there. But if you want to just find out where I'm going live most of the time, what shows I'm jumping on, that's the best way to find me. And in conclusions to end it up, I hope Daka does see what he wants to a Russian side.
Score 4. Great podcast. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. It's been a good one. Good night, chat. Take care and stay safe. And well, yes. So, guys, let us know your starting 11. Let us know your score prediction as well. Will Liverpool win to close the gap on City to 9 points, or will the Foxes manage to sting the Liverpool Reds? We will see what happens anyway. But until then, it is goodbye from the four of us, and we will see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Thank you all. I enjoyed that very much.
The only